Tuesday night, let's go!
And remember, get your ass to Mars.
This stream will make you wish you got 3 hands.
I like the Harris go.
Actually, Harris, you're one of the more pirate looking individuals amongst us all. You just need to get you like a really big hat with like 4 peacock feathers. We're there, man.
Yeah. Oh, now that you say that, I'm like, yeah. Good looking
I should
pirate.
add that to my little tagline here: author, Yeti Emperor, and pirate extraordinaire.
Yes.
Yeti Emperor.
He is the Yeti Emperor. He hunts them. Why do you think we are, Justin? Why do you think we in America are safe from the Yeti incursion? This man.
Thank
this
you,
man.
for keeping us safe. I'm picturing a pirate ship with all the crewmen are Yetis. He's just rounding them up. It's
That'd
like,
be
all
awesome.
right, boys.
That'd be awesome.
Put him to work building all those empty apartment buildings. Anyway.
So, this week, it was Total Recall that won the poll for this week.
Yeah.
And we have a last-minute surprise guest. A surprise guest. Surprise.
I was
Michael
surprised.
Harris is joining
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Harris. I was like, who's the surprise guest? There's another one?
I thought so.
It's like, geez, I thought it was just...
I love how fast Justin is to establish he's the boomer on our streams. It's great, man. Oh, it's great.
Yeah, we have some other topics.
Retort.
We have some other topics as well to go through. One, because of memory loss was a topic of the movie, so we're going to talk about kind of amnesia as a storytelling device.
Yeah.
Go
And
into
also
some of the morality of that. I think Michael Harris was talking
and
about
also
it a little bit.
morality.
And we have some other topics as well. What are the other topics?
I believe
they're on here, man. What makes a good, bad book cover? Meeting creators or fans IRL. And yeah, I think that's enough. Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
That second one's a little bit hard for me, being in my side of the world.
Oh, meeting creators and fans IRL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Anatomy of
Yeah,
a Plot
go
Twist was on there too. That it could be a good one to talk about because Total Recall is doing something a little different with this as far as plot twist.
Yes.
I think it's really clear what's going on, but except for
Case
one
setting,
thing.
execution,
But yeah.
anatomy of a plot twist, and then ethics of memory manipulation. That's what the thumbnail says. Are we going rogue here? We flipping the table?
No, guys, we have a discussion topics page on Discord. Why are we confused?
I'm looking at the
2
thumbnail.
factions.
Thumbnail is law.
All right. Well,
I've met all of you. I'm bigger than all of you.
Kahuna, how's your week been, huh?
My week
has been excellent since yesterday when we talked.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
from Monday evening to Tuesday during the day of Tuesday. Since I saw you last, it's been great. It's been fabulous.
How's your last 12 hours been? They've been okay?
My whole life is falling apart. Country's gone to shit. Anyway.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's been terrible.
How about we ask Michael Harris, who
Yeah.
hasn't been here with any of us in a minute? How has your half a year been?
My half year or week?
Yeah.
Oh, just a week. I don't get either one. I'm effing around. We're good.
Hit it.
Ups and downs, but all right.
Hell yeah, boy.
All right.
That's what I like.
Well, all right, I guess we don't need to go through the rest of our weeks.
Here's the only one that matters.
I want to get into Total Recall.
Fair.
All right, real quick. Who had not had all of you seen it before this?
Last time I saw it, I was like 10.
I had never seen it.
It's been
And my only memory of it was there was 3 boobs.
I knew that, and I hadn't seen the movie.
I didn't even remember the Quato.
Whenever their faces were all like jacked up on Mars, those were my only memories of this movie as 10-year-old.
Pretty close
eyes
to that,
bulging
Michael.
out.
Actually, yeah.
His eyes
Stupid
bulging
things
out.
that shocked me at that age, like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah,
oh,
nightmares.
hell? That's all I took away from it.
It's just boobs and suffering on
People,
Mars.
yeah,
with no air.
their faces exploding.
Also, looking up things about.
The weird like belly dude.
Oh yeah, like
Yep. Quato.
Yeah,
Open
your
mind.
AC is
you're not smoking enough dope, boy. Come on, get in here.
a pet Kawato. Yeah, we had a whole like top thing set up for the stream and all.
If things ever go to hell, AC, you can be my little Quato. There's room here.
I
You're fine.
want a Quattro.
Hey, here's a thought: double Quato. Just throwing it out.
I don't. Where would you like? You fine. You could be on my shoulder, like looking around.
No. The Quato has a Quato. It's just like
Oh dear God.
Like
the
aliens.
endless mirror. It just keeps on
Yeah.
going and keeps smaller and more
It's
wide.
like the
And then Battsauce is just the indentured slave who cleans underneath the folds
Yep.
between the
Aw.
cocktails.
The word folds is not a good
It's
word.
just-
The human body. I don't want to hear the word.
You guys want to clean under the?
No. Feather duster. Housekeeping.
Quick, play a transition.
Housekeeping.
Oh,
All right, so Justin, let's go through our weekly overview of the weekly movie.
real quick.
All right, so the thing
Animation overload.
hey,
Thank
what's
you
up,
for
everyone?
joining us.
Yeah, luckily, hey Tim K, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Luckily,
Oh, yeah,
it's
Tim K,
okay if you're
everything
here
else.
because the T is raised by the Arnold Armstrong movie, so it's safe for you to be here.
Yeah, it raises the T of everybody who beholds it.
That's true. It's true. This
It took me a second to figure out what you meant.
Yeah.
This week was movies from our birth year, and so Total Recall won. And you have to wonder.
Freaking barely. Mine was set to win.
Doc,
You got to sit there dangling in the wind. I believe is the old adage as to which one of us was from 1990. Maybe it was all of us. You don't know. Who would know? Nobody knows. They'll never.
That
know.
no one here from '94. Definitely not me. Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not.
You're younger than my little brother. Nobody.
Oh, fuck
in
off.
particular.
Nobody.
So there.
Oh Christ.
So, Total
I
Recall.
think I'm the oldest of us all. I was born in the 80s.
Ooh, nice.
Justin, you were too. Yeah.
I was.
When
Bats, are you 90?
what?
92.
Years old?
You 92?
Yeah, 92
You
years
90
old.
years old, brother?
No.
No.
No,
The
Bats
secret
was
is
born
the-
in
not maybe.
2006.
I'm having a stroke.
Yeah, I'm 16, guys.
Yeah, guys.
All right, Justin, do your overview. I want to talk about the movie. Guys, stop distracting him.
All right. So 1990 as Total Recall, and the rundown, the summary of this movie, as you will, whatever, was when a man goes in to have vacation memories of the planet Mars implanted in his mind, an unexpected and harrowing series of events forces him to go to the planet for real. Or
But what
is he?
What happened, Justin?
We'll get to it. This was written by Philip K. Penis. It was directed by You're
Well,
Welcome,
it's
Jake,
based
if you
off a
want.
book. Phil.
This was
Me,
direct-
Philip K. Dick.
There's more. Yeah, Philip K. Johnson. It was directed by Paul Verhaven, and I wrote Robo Popo. I don't even know what I was supposed to be saying there. Oh, it was the guy who did he did Hollow Man and RoboCop, aka Robo Popo. Stars. That me and AC we figured this out. Maybe we put it together beforehand. Bats is very impressed.
Yeah, it was great.
Justin is sober, for anyone wondering, despite his
No, you
despite how he's acting.
Starring
George
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who, for me?
No, Kahuna.
Starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sharon Stone, fine, and Michael Ironsides. That can't be a real last name. Budget. And
It better be a real last name.
it's better than
Nice.
Philip K. Penis.
That's not.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it though? I don't know. $156 million was the budget in today dollars, and it grossed $290 million. Comes in at an hour and 53. They couldn't make it to 2 hours. They couldn't cut it back to an hour 45. But that is the rundown for Total Recall, the original, not the remake with Colin Farrell and that one lady and that other lady.
I had seen that version for some butt effing reason. I don't
That
know
one-
why. That one was
Dude,
bad.
I got thoughts on
not
that one.
bad. It's not
That
bad.
one's not bad. It's just not.
Jessica Biel and Kate Beckinsale. And
It
Colin
was
Farrell.
not as good.
It was
like, by a mile.
so forgettable, and it's after watching this one. Why would they make it like that?
I don't know. There's still
I
some.
think
No,
I
there's.
explained
I have
already.
very specific scenes from that movie, like very memorized. Jessica Biel sliding, or not Jessica Biel. Whatever her name is.
Kate,
Kate Beckinsale?
Yeah, Kate
Biel,
Beckinsale
Jessica-
sliding
Jessica-
across the room, like with all that action going on, and then
Yeah, all
also
that
like the
action.
elevator. Like there was a weird elevator in that one.
It's true.
I had
Was it-
the
was
scenes
elevator.
from Mars stuck in my head from the remake. You know that scene on Mars?
No.
No,
Oh, wait,
there was
wasn't
there.
any.
Yeah, that's right, AC. There wasn't any.
Oh, it was the
There
old
wasn't any.
pulled the
Throwing
curtain.
shade. Colin Farrell, Colin Forgetful.
Yeah.
So I was about 20 minutes into this movie, and I was like, "Is this based off of a Philip Dick book?" And then go figure it is, because I read
Penis Books. Did he write it?
What gave it
Yes.
away?
he is a incredibly famous, popular sci-fi author, and this his books read very similar. He also did Scanner Darkly, which is another popular one. He did a couple others. I very recently read Ubik, which is kind of the same deal going on. There's psychics. There's you don't know exactly what reality is. Is he in a dream? Is he not in a dream? Kind of thing. So yeah, it's very much the same style and format, and yeah, I very enjoyable.
Is this too loud,
Well, that
Magic?
makes
Sorry.
sense.
No, more.
That makes sense why the opening scene is so well.
Kahuna.
That makes sense why the opening scene is so well placed. I'll say because I shouldn't say it's super well written. It's good though, because I think if it was a little bit more direct, but it makes sense if it's from a book. It makes sense because
Did Philip K. Dick write "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep" or am I high?
I don't think
I
so.
believe so.
I thought he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
He basically half of the sci-fi classic movies.
From 1975 to 90 were all him.
Yeah.
Philip K. Johnson.
I already made that joke.
It was Philip K. Trouser Snakes.
Yeah. Philip K. Trouser Snake.
It's like
should
Michael
be-
Moorcock.
Oh my God.
Their jokes write themselves. Anyway.
I was gonna say Philip K. Trouser Snake sounds like an evil villain in Sherlock Hamster, but that's a little bit too sexual.
I hope don't put that in your book, children's book.
No,
please.
I was gonna say do it, but then don't do it for sure.
Oh, it
after I
was. It
realized
was
that.
Phil.
Philip K. Trouser Snake.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know. It's actually
So,
That's gonna be my pseudonym.
Yeah, AC, talk about the opening song. The
Oh,
symbolism.
Tell us.
You mentioned it's from a novel. Well, a common thing with novels and just storytelling in general is to have a microcosm of the book as the opening scene. This is why you see a lot of seemingly out of place openings. Like, why did it start here and then cut to the kid on the farm? You know what I mean?
That's a big style of him as a writer in general. But
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes to mess around with that in the beginnings of his
he's
stories.
always fucking with you. He's always tapping you on the shoulder, being like, "Is it real?"
Well,
Yeah.
he's always making you ask the question.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
Yeah. Hey, you thinking about that? But anyway, but it's like just good storytelling to kind of present the consumer with everything that you're going to get into, a microcosm of the story, a little bit of foreshadowing, a good start, obviously, but just all the themes, everything rolled into one opening scene. That's also, guess what, the hook. So what they did in this makes a lot of sense. If it's from a book, that actually that you can actually tell that it's from a book in hindsight. But anyway, the opening scene is just filled with all kinds of symbolism, which this movie on its face just looks like a kind of a lowbrow action sci-fi, with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you wouldn't be wrong to assume that, but the people who went into it, like I just said, translated it well, just from the opening scene. And they more importantly, they cared about it, because they're filling it with all kinds of symbolism. For example, he's on Mars, hostile environment. He's trapped in a suit, and that's the only supply of air. He has this mysterious woman with him. So it's all this stuff happening within the context of a dream, and all this stuff makes a lot of sense in the context of the movie and within the story. So not only is he on Mars, but and in a hostile environment at some point in the story, that's direct foreshadowing. But Quaid throughout the entire movie is he's running from people trying to kill him. He's in a hostile environment, even in his household with his wife, no matter what. So right off the bat, that's kind of on the nose. And the spacesuit, yeah, he's on Mars, in a spacesuit, I think, even at one point in time. But more importantly, the colonies on Mars are in their own kind of spacesuit in the form of the domes and the air that's being sold to them by the corporations and
Well,
stuff like that.
it's also that like people we leave Earth, we go to Mars. The problem of us being human, all of our problems follow with us. We can't escape that
Yes.
just by going somewhere else as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys
And-
notice? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
My final thought on this before
take
we
your time.
my final thought on this before we continue. Just like all that in consideration, the mysterious lady, that's telling you that the story is going to revolve around like a mysterious lady, and moreover, and a little less directly, his wife, right? Like the woman in his life, right off the bat when you open with that, it's kind of foreshadowing towards her being one of the plot twists, right? And not only that, all of that is a dream. So is the movie a dream when you consider he's getting memory implants, right? And literally it cuts to him just waking up on a bus. We don't know, right? That's so everything about that, all kinds of symbolism and foreshadowing, and people still to this day debate whether or not the entire movie is just a dream anyway, and none of it matters because of that scene, the opening.
So the openings
I
are
have-
the biggest
yeah.
evidence to it being not a dream. But
Well, because he has the real dream that he wakes up from, and she kind of talks about it in detail, as if he's had this dream before. It's the only thing to me that indicates that maybe the whole thing wasn't a simulation after he was hooked up to the machine.
And he dies too. Keep that in mind.
Hmm.
In the dream, like his mask is smashed, and him and his lady flop around and swell up and die, and then he wakes up.
Well, like there are some big there are a couple of changes that are small in some ways, but kind of fundamental in others that they made between the book and the movie. In the book, the character is very like he's an office worker, kind of a very ordinary guy who, like, if you walked into a crowd, you'd lose him because he like there's nothing to distinguish him from your
Arnold
everyday
Schwarzenegger is both
everyman.
the best casting and the worst casting at the same time.
I looked it up. He did this for 3 different roles. Terminator. The original idea for the Terminator was that he could slip into a crowd and he would just look like anyone else. And then Arnold walks in. He's like, "What if we use one of the best physiques in human history instead?"
And they're like, "Oh my, okay."
Yes.
So
Pool
here's
boy,
the thing.
pool boy from Golden Girls, right? The other show, whatever.
So later we find out he does go to get his memory right. There's a thing called total recall where they basically you can have vacations, just the memory of a vacation, not actually have to deal with the hardship of the dealing with travel and all this stuff. Which is the big sci-fi element thrown into this movie, which is really cool. I will say they kind of like, hey, there's this guy who went schizo or whatever, like got fucked up super hard through this, so be careful. I'm just thinking now, I'm like, what if that's him?
What if this
be
has
the one
happened
that-
before? What if they use the machine to fix him by erasing memory of that?
What if
What
he
was
was the one that
what
had the
was the phrase
schizo
from it?
episode? And
Yeah, schizophrenic something, right? What they call it?
Schizoid Embolism, the best band
There
from the
we go.
80s.
Schizoid. Yeah, AC knows.
That sounds
He's in
like
the
a great
scene,
punk rock band name.
right?
Yeah. So yeah, they do that. There's also the hint when he talks about with his coworker. He's like, "I'm thinking about doing this," and the coworker is like, once he walks away, he's like, like, "Oh fuck, we gotta check up on him." So more hint that like it does have a secret past or something like that. And
Again,
then-
I think the real answer is that it's up to interpretation, because
Absolutely. So that's how he does
that's
it with
all Philip K. Dick stories.
yeah.
The worst answer.
Justin's
Make
like,
it
I
a
need answers.
I
Make a
know
choice, Silas. Make a
Philip
choice.
Dick is the one person, or not the one person, but he's like all of his books are just like this. It really is the best way to end it. And then I don't know, it makes it so rewatchable at the same time because there's so many things that you want to like wait did I miss this? Where there's all these little things throughout the movie that are little clues to the possible conclusion. Whatever you may think that is.
Also, until I watched this, I wouldn't have guessed before watching it that this was one of the most expensive films of its time when it first came out. They like $65 million back then was a lot of dough to be dropping on a film,
Did it make
especially.
money?
Oh yeah, it made
Yeah, I
money.
imagine
Yeah.
everybody went to the movies to see this. This
We
is
did the rundown, and the budget was 156, and it made almost 300. So it didn't like break down the door, but it made its money back. And some of the special effects, especially the fat lady suit, that was
It was really good.
wow. That holds
Some
up.
of the practical combined with some of the digital is actually really good for 1990.
2 weeks. 2
Agreed.
weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2
there's
weeks.
no other phrase.
I can't believe they got a trans actor in here too. Arnold. With
So
the
yeah,
trans
basically,
actor.
when he goes to do the memory thing, the guy convinces him. He's like, "Well, we could also give you this, like the secret agent package, where like you're gonna think you're a secret agent for the week." And he's like, "Okay,
And
I'll
then
do
they
that."
spoil the entire plot of the film.
Yeah,
you notice that?
It's almost like it was all a dream or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so,
almost
like,
we can
basically-
remember it for you wholesale or something.
2 weeks.
yeah. So when he goes to get his memory swaps, they're like they have to like stop it because they're like something's going wrong. And now
Arnold's
now he
making
thinks he's a
Arnold
secret
noises.
agent.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
The fight.
That's a
The
sign.
fight between him and his wife. Chat, let us know. Let us know, chat, right now. One's in the chat if we should add a very quick, out of context shot of Schwarzenegger punching a woman in the face.
Some fun behind the scenes fact about that: they couldn't stand each other, and everybody on set was like, they're real. Whenever they have their fight, like their physical scenes, they're really they're putting more into it than maybe they should
Arnie
be.
and Sharon, is that what you mean?
Yeah, they couldn't stand. They could not stand each other.
He
Is
was,
what
he
they
was
all
just
said.
thinking about his house cleaner the whole time. That's all that was.
Yeah, can you speak with a Spanish accent and gain a whole bunch of weight?
I'll be shorter. Ow.
I cannot understand you. Perfect.
Oh yeah, chat's
What's
chat's
interesting?
digging
This
it.
is the second
That sounds
movie we've
great.
reviewed on this where the wife is like not real. She's an actress. Because Truman Show was the same deal.
It gave me very much Truman Show vibes too. That was for sure.
Yeah. Similarly, not to go on a tangent, but just pointing out, guys didn't get pointed out yesterday with Ghost of the Badlands, the one-arm guy. Same thing as Master and Commander, one-arm kid.
Demolition Man, I agree. The one that I didn't love as much as I wanted to was RoboCop. I wanted to love the movie and I just liked it. It was good, just not
Still need to
as
watch
good as
that
I
one.
wanted.
I haven't seen RoboCop since I don't even know when.
Came out.
Robo Popo,
So-
as we
Robo
coined it.
Robo.
So
Obo.
throughout
Robo.
the movie, basically he's kind of playing out exactly what they said his memory would be, but they're also kind of trying to convince you that it's not the memory. So you're very much asking this question: is this real or is this not?
It does a better job of the is it or isn't it than most movies, especially from back then.
Totally
Oh,
real.
yeah.
Whole thing
So
happened.
he goes to Mars because he has to meet this girl that's like part of the whole objective thing. He gets there and then he finds out there's mutants there. They're kind of psychic, and there's this whole secondary thing going on in Mars that he gets thrown into, which is basically there's like a revolution. Which there was a great quote by the taxi driver when he hops in.
I love the taxi
I forgot
driver.
who it
He
was,
was so
yeah.
much fun.
I did for a while. I was like, yo, I like this guy. He's cool. And then he had to be a jerk.
Yeah, but
Benny.
Well,
Yeah, so
I liked how how cool he seemed when he was a good guy, and then I loved how much of a flagrant cock he was after he revealed his double status, so
Look
to
at
say.
this guy's little machine just trying to grind him into dust.
Screw you!
there's even a scene where like a random old guy, because like there is this thing where like the people that are trying to like kill him or not trying to kill him because you don't really know yet because the supervisor in charge of killing him is too low on the pay scale to know what's going on, and yeah, so like they even throw in this like old dude that comes in. He's like, hey, I work with the company that does the memory thing. Like I'm here to guide you out. This is all a dream. It's not real. And he's like,
Or we're gonna
shoots him.
unplug you. Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah. So they just keep on teasing you throughout the whole thing. And then so he ends up getting in with the pro mutant crowd. that wants freedom and air. And
Hey, mutant kids,
So
they're just as smart as rich kids. I'm just gonna say it.
No, you mean mutant kids? They're just like as smart as white kids, rich kids.
You know, Bucko. Let me tell you something about intelligence.
so he meets the mutant overlord.
You dog-faced mutant soldier pony.
You pulled your dog face.
Which is basically just this like mini guy like stuck to another guy. It comes out of his stomach. And then at that point, the company comes in and they're like, "Oh, sweet, we got you in. Like this is the best way to get somebody in was like to wipe your memory because these psychics they can read your mind and all that." So that was like a super integral plot, very well thought out. And if that is what happened, and so
Hey guys, everybody in the chat, I'm curious. If you have seen the movie, do you think it was a simulation or do you think it was real? Post in the comments because I'm curious.
The right answer is real.
I disagree, AC.
Say whatever you want. You can be wrong. It's fine.
well, it's
You're
funny
allowed-
because
you're
it's
allowed
like
to-
just like a ridiculous story. Like everything just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. Like it never
And everything they mention in the beginning is brought to fruition and turns out to be true. Every single thing.
Yeah.
Just
That's-
like
What if he was one of
Like the
those
oracles.
mutant telepaths, and he was just.
Right. What if he was a Quato?
What if he was a Quato? That's right. It all comes back.
Who would be his source body? Fat bastard from the Michael Myers place? I have psychic powers.
You are in
Arnold
my
was
belly
Quato.
now.
Yeah.
I'm in his belly.
What if Arnold was the
In my
Quato?
belly.
Yeah, and he's like,
I'm
oh my
already
God,
in your
that's
belly.
He's like,
Come on, then.
We're on Mars now.
All right, real quick from James Hurley says, "I think it is real." Resident
Yeah,
One says,
Hurley.
"I don't know, and I don't care." That's fair.
+1
That's
Hurley,
right,
because you're right. Did you all notice the line whenever Arnold first gets to Mars and he's talking to somebody and he's just like, every last one? No. You remember that? If you take the first letter from that sentence, it actually spells out Elon, and Elon's interested in Mars. I was like, what in the world? Philip K. Dick.
You can't say that in front of AC. That's the entire show now.
No.
Bat spun out of existence on that one.
He's not on the short bus. He's in
guys,
a hearse.
The show Iron Seas, it sinks for me.
There's a red button on this short bus, and it sinks the ship.
All right, let's point out.
push the
Let's
red
go over some things that we really like. Criticisms. What do we like? What's some things that really stood out? Kahuna, you first.
Some of the effects were astoundingly.
There you are.
Don't touch me there. Anyway, what do you do? Christ. Some of the effects were pretty astounding, and I love that you took such a unintentionally comedic and also aggressive action star like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then combined it with this very serious like Philip K. Dick story. And somehow all the elements come together and it just works. If you told me all of the ingredients, I don't think it would, truth be told, if I hadn't seen it already. But it just works, and it's really, really good.
Justin mentioned Elon. Talk about Neuralink the movie, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
Harris,
You said it.
Yeah.
you said you didn't rewatch it. I mean, this was last minute for you, but
Yeah.
anything you remember? I know it'd probably be hard to.
Anything that stands out to you now
Besides
is
the
probably
three
worth
boobies?
remembering.
Besides the tripartite boobies,
Tripartite.
let me see. I think I don't remember a lot of it. I remember more of the Earth scenes, like the fight with his wife and his wife being an agent. That's one of the ones that stood out in the airport escape, where he's,
Oh, I like the face, the mechanical mask. That was wild, dude. That was so.
Before I forget, some of the action scenes were so good. Like in the bar scene with just the mutants and the corporation, when the midget pulls out a knife and shanks the guy. I'm like, this is awesome. This is cinema, man.
They
This
had
is
to go.
cinema.
They had to go through 2 intensive rounds of editing to make it rated R because it was hyper. It was like 8 times more violent in the original cut.
It was very easy. They just had to stick a vagina on that one mutant's face.
That was hilarious. Pussy face guy.
I just thought his face was weird. I didn't see that.
I just thought it was a berserk
I saw it,
character.
Bats.
Honestly,
It
saw
definitely
it,
looked
Bats.
like a vagina just
Yeah.
across his face.
I was like, hey, it makes the guy more sympathetic.
frankly, this movie has the whole package.
The whole package. Complete
I got
package.
Siamese
got pussy
twins. You want
faces.
to go to that bar?
Just grab him by the face, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Grab him by the face.
The
I
best
always love
mutants, the
old.
most expensive air.
There's nothing like there's nothing like top grade face. Anyway,
He has the best hair. Frankly, all the other colonies says it's great. It's fantastic.
beautiful.
In the top 1% of
Oh, Christ.
Anyways, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, anytime there's old movies from the '80s, any movie in general that predicts things way in the future, but they don't quite go far enough ahead, so you get these.
Yeah.
It's like maybe some of it's right. Demolition Man did it really well. There's a lot of things in Demolition Man that are future predictive that are actually kind of close to what we have today. There was things in this
Yeah.
movie that were fun though. The nails, where she just like touches it and changes the color. I'm like, I can see
Oh,
that.
that was
being a
cool.
thing. The
Yeah, it's such a
X-ray
small
tech.
thing.
Also, the aesthetic of this movie. It's futuristic, but it doesn't look polished like so many movies, like in the 2000s and on. Like when they show the future, they're like, look at this. Look at iRobot. I like that movie with Will Smith, but it's so hyper polished most of the time. I'm like, that's not. I think how it's gonna look.
This movie participates in the psyop though that Mars is red.
You just vanished.
He's gone, dude. All the Mars aliens are like, get this guy out of here.
You guys do know that Mars is not actually red, right?
I don't know
not,
what colors. I've never been there.
Beautiful.
Hey, don't take something else away from the Native Americans.
It's just like anywhere on Earth. All those photos that show like a red Mars are all photoshopped by NASA.
Yeah, well, that's
NASA
Earth,
has like
too.
one of the
Yeah.
best Photoshop teams in the world.
Yeah, it's an
that's-
it's an image, not a photo. It's like everything you see. It's just an image. It's an artist.
Yeah, but they intentionally made it redder to make it look like outworldly. It's like crazy. Everybody thinks Mars is red, but it's not.
Justin, don't say that about Earth, because then the flat earthers like, yeah, it's not a photo. It's not real.
That's a point, though. I mean, they say something that's like,
No,
oh, yeah.
don't give them anything.
If you're right about something, you're right about something. I'm not going to say that they're right about everything, but if you're right about something, that's fine.
Wrong. Frankly.
It is weird that NASA has
The Earth
primarily
is that color because I think it
digital
is.
artists.
Earth is
That's all I
red.
gotta say.
The recall
NASA.
tech in it was cool. With the memory implants, that's something that is potentially on the future, so that was kind of cool. The X-ray machine, whenever they're walking through and they're like scanning them, that like little shootout scene, and he jumps through it. That was
the
really
setup
fun.
for everything.
And
Everything
then-
that's used later in the story is preemptively set up in the beginning. It's like, oh my god, we
Yep.
have competent writers. What is going on?
Yeah.
I like the
On
jump
its
cap,
surface,
too.
on its
And-
surface, it's a goofy action flick, but dude, no, it's like a little. It's good writing.
It's not a brainless movie like people would anticipate. Michael, what were you
It's
saying?
like a fun action movie version of Inception, like
Yeah,
Inception,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
silly.
Well,
and
the
fun.
ending gives you Inception vibes. Yeah.
Don't say that. Justin doesn't like that movie.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
Pick
real
an
quick,
ending.
let's go to AC.
Justin.
What
I'm just-
about your thoughts on it? And then we're gonna go back to Justin and he could tell us what he hates about this movie.
Just general thoughts.
Well, like what stuck out. Generally
Oh,
speaking.
yeah. I'll add some more. You know, that symbolism carries throughout the entire movie, like with damn near every scene. Like, and once you identify it, like in the beginning, with like the spacesuit is really like the colony dome. You know what I mean? How objects are really other objects. If you like, once you identify the type of symbolism it's laying out, you can start seeing it everywhere. Like when the big bad evil guy is like monologuing to his little bald minion guy, he literally he's like he's like, he basically is just like, you got to do what you're told. You're my bitch. And then he just like turns and feeds some fish, and it's like, that's on purpose. Why would you just have him randomly feed some fish? There's a lot of other things, and it's for a good reason. It's because like everybody on Mars, all the small folk are in a big fish tank essentially, and he is the one feeding them, the one person keeping all the fish alive. They all have to rely on him.
Yeah, that has to be symbolism, because I'm like, why
100%.
do they keep showing the fish? And it's of course, it's symbolic. Yeah.
He's literally giving them air, like he's selling them air and keeping them.
Oh, true. Yeah. Good point.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, Justin, what's your problem with this movie, huh?
Other things from the past that I thought were cool that were like predictive of the future. You got hologram trainer. It's like, oh yeah, it's like not too different from we're coming up on that. Ready Player One kind of stuff. So I thought the hologram trainer was cool, and even whenever he uses it in the battle later on, that was some fun scene. He's like, he's like looking like,
oh yeah, and then he's like,
the bullets aren't doing anything.
He's like, ha ha ha! You think I'm a hologram? Bam bam.
They have video phone in the car, which we basically have nowadays. The video phone in the car. I was like, oh, that's
pretty much, yeah.
One thing about this movie that cracked me up. Holy crap, was there a ton of ad placements. I hope that's probably why the budget was so high. They probably got a ton of money from these different companies. Yeah. There was so many ads for so many products, and it was fun.
Like
because shoot, I didn't write them down. There was a ton. Rewatch it, you'll be like, oh hell yeah, it's like every.
If you watch, they're all over the place. But
there's a ton. I didn't write them down, but there was a bunch, and me and my wife were making fun of it. No, there's a lot. There's a lot.
That doesn't bother me as long as it's not like overt.
Did you guys notice how big some of the? Did you guys notice how big some of the sets in this movie were?
Yep.
Yeah, it's partially because they just some of them were real locations that they altered slightly, but a lot of the sets in this were really impressive.
You could also feel like they were pretty hollow, so like a lot of those things are like made out of paper. You could tell, like, so they like can slide it in, slide it out very easily. Not that is a bad thing, but it's like obvious that's how the things were constructed. But yeah, the product placement. What I mean is, like, I think the best example of it poorly is Transformers when Marky Mark fucking chugs the beer for no reason at the Bud Light. Yeah.
No, the worst is in the first Iron Man when Iron Man catches the Audi with the family in it, and it shows the Audi's like perfectly unharmed after. That's the worst one.
Yeah.
No,
it's all bad.
Made me go look up Barks root beer because there's Barks advertised so much. I'm like, do they even make Barks anymore? I haven't had
I didn't see a single Barks root beer.
Rewatch the first half hour. There are so many ads. Avion's in there. Avion bottled water. Barks. There was a bunch. There was at least 10 different companies that I was like, wow, they're just like full front with this thing. Full frontal advertising. But
full frontal advertising.
Good news, Barks still exists. I just haven't seen it in a store in a while. But it's
Box root beer. It make you wish you had 3 hands.
Justin, it's more popular on the West Coast. People love Barks around here.
Okay.
They missed a total opportunity there.
That said, to answer your question, I just wanted to make sure I wanted to hit on those points because I had them listened out here. I didn't hate anything about this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a good movie top to bottom. I love the practical effects. I love the 80s vibes of it. But at the same time, I'm cool maybe seeing it one more time or never again. I'm fine with either one. And this is a term that I think needs to be broad with movies in general. Whenever you see a movie that's like, yeah, it was really good, go see it. If you've never watched it again, you won't care. You might watch it one other time, whatever. Like, I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but I feel like that's an example in these movies. There's good movies out there. I don't want to watch again and again. You watch it, you enjoy it, we move on with life. A lot of people say that about Wolverine and Deadpool. It's the kind of thing like, yeah, I watched it one time. I don't care if I ever see it again. I've heard a lot of people say that. I haven't seen it myself. To me, there needs to be a term for this kind of movie because this is one of those movies. It was good. Go see it. You're going to like it. You're going to enjoy it. If you never see it again, you won't care. That's how I felt.
Makes you a beta cuck.
Thank you. I agree with that statement. Yeah.
He's like, oh, where's that clip at? Oh, yeah.
Are you insane?
No.
This is a very rewatch. I think this is a very rewatchable movie, in my opinion.
It gave me the exact same vibes as when I read Ubik. Obviously, it's the same author. The very first thing I did when I finished Ubik, I reread it, and I never reread a book immediately after. That's never happened before.
What?
What?
You never reread a book?
No. Right after, or like in a short period of time. Like I've never.
I don't that often.
I need like a year or two
every year on his birthday, starting next year. I'm gonna teach him about the neural link.
Yeah.
Fear,
but
about the fear of Mars. I'm gonna put the fear of Mars in his heart.
Get your ass to Mars.
If I had time,
anybody who's different, you hear me, Xander? Mutants, you stay away from them. The mutants.
if I had time,
If you're not male, if your gender isn't male or female, mutant, send them to Mars.
Stop
Oh God.
Oh man. That was a good. That was a great. There was a couple of really good insults in this movie. Some good quotes. Yeah. No wonder you're having nightmares. You're always watching the news.
That's good.
That's why I was like, dude, Justin's gonna love this. There's like so many awesome quotes in this.
Quippy.
Mutant is a great insult word. It's right up there with a Muppet. It's a great insult.
The actions.
What are you talking about?
And the blue collar wisdom at the very beginning. Sorry, the bats to cut you off, but at the very beginning, whenever he's talking to the construction worker, who's telling him like, "Hey, don't got that thing." He's like, "Hey, don't F with your brain, pal. It ain't worth it." I was like, that is blue collar wisdom right there. And then the guy ended up being a bad guy, which made me mad, but I appreciate that. Sorry.
So the visuals are on point on this movie. The action is on point in this movie, and both of those hold up to this day. This story is on point. And I mentioned in our comments that like this is such a clear example of sci-fi and not sci-fi fantasy, where like Star Wars is barely sci-fi. It's really sci-fi fantasy. I mean, you got a lot of movies, especially today, that are just like more fantasy than they are sci-fi. This is hard, actual sci-fi where we're like, what is a world look like when we have this technology we can fuck with people's memories? And also, we're going to throw a horror element into it where you can't fucking tell because shit gets that mixed up and gray. Like I love that. It just like makes you think you're just.
I don't know. I think the stomach guy might have been a wizard. I'll be frank. But...
Oh man, I want this movie. I want the horror movie version of it and the full fantasy version too.
Well, it's so cool.
It's got memory
building. Holy shit!
Memory wiping. It's got mutants. It's got Mars. It's got space aliens.
Frankly,
what has it done to have? Like dystopian corporations, like
it basically set up a
Sharon
whole world.
Stone being nice doesn't have that.
Boobies shown in the first 5 minutes of the movie. That's what I'm talking about.
They are not shy about the tits in this film at all.
Bring back boobies being shown in the first 5 minutes of a movie.
That's all they did. They're like, how do we keep the guys hooked? No, I get just the thing.
You know, and later in the movie, like, you know what's better than 2 boobs? What?
5.
3.
No, I had the thought when I'm watching this. I had to like pause it and like talk to my wife. I'm like, Jesus Christ! It's like when you think like
why can't you have 3 boobs?
No, it's like people always wonder if it's like, are we just being nostalgic about stuff? And like people think that we have TikTok brains or something like that. And then rewatching this movie, it's like, no, this movie keeps you captured the entire time. It's entertainment 100% through the way, and it's not just dumb entertainment. It's like thoughtful stuff going on.
And it was well paced enough to keep Justin watching it, which is a freaking miracle at this point.
And I never picked up my phone once.
Yeah. I did. I had to watch it. Well, I didn't have to. I got to watch it.
Yeah, probably when the 3 tits came out, huh? Yeah,
he's like, we can just skip that.
Ew, too many.
Ew.
Raw.
You look at your wife. I don't even like those.
It's 2 things that have only never let me down in this entire country's history: the First Amendment and boobs.
Her expression in that clip is gold. Anyway,
it's so funny.
It has the opposite problem from Kung Pao.
I didn't see that.
Uniboob chick.
Oh!
I misheard. I thought you said Kung Fu Panda in my head. I was so confused. I'm like, when were there tits in Kung Fu Panda?
It makes me wish I had 3 hands.
Jack Black the entire time, man.
Wish I had 3 mouths. Anyway.
I was gonna say, this movie, it set up an entire wonderful sci-fi universe / world. They even referenced visiting Saturn, so humanity even has vacations to Saturn. We are intersolar in that universe. It's very cool. And Well,
Or
yeah,
just
it's
the
all a
memories?
dream.
Is Mars
It's all
even
a dream,
real?
yeah. Right, it's
Yeah.
all a dream.
Yeah, you're there.
But that just frustrates me even more with the remake because they did away with Mars completely, and
Yeah.
like they just went their own way. They're like, okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna keep the 3 boob chick. We're gonna say a few of the same lines, and it's all just gonna be on Earth
Call
about
it like
global
something
warming.
else, and then
Remake
just make
had
your
the
own
food
story.
chick? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
They
you
brought
can't
the 3
not.
boob chick over, but then they like ignored
I
everything
just
else except for a
remember
few lines.
Kate Beckinsale
They
being a
took
bad
the
guy.
important things away from the story, I guess.
You can't remake a movie
I
that
don't know.
still
I'm a
holds up
smart Hollywood
10
writer.
years later.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
no, you can. You just fucking shouldn't.
Yeah.
Also
Hollywood. Also, like, remember about like they would like you don't have to like come up with this all new original story. Almost every movie in existence is based off of a book in some form or fashion. Just find a good book. Find a good way to adapt it. It's not rocket science. Your writers suck.
But what if I need
Oh,
to
boy.
put my own mark on things, and I can't, so I need to ride on the coattails of someone else to do that?
I understand you need a gender-neutral whale of a character to represent how you
Oh.
feel on the inside.
Good. Okay, good.
But we don't want.
So I know
Specifically
that
a whale.
the ambiguous ending has upset you, but before we get into ambiguous endings as like kind of a semi-topic,
Was it ambiguous?
the ending.
Was it?
Yeah, he's like, if this is a dream, we better make it quick or make it count.
We better make out now.
It's
This could be a
definitely-
dream.
It's definitely ambiguous. Like I said, like I have a theory that the guy, like he's the scrambled patient that they refer to in the beginning of the story. That from the very beginning, he's in a dream.
The guy that was
That's a less common theory, but I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because
I mean, with Philip Dick, you would never know. He always leaves this stuff ambiguous. But I'm curious, what let you down in this movie? Well, like what for you was a negative?
For me?
Yeah.
It
We'll go in
was
reverse
just overall. It's like let's say you go out on a date with a girl, and she's great. You really enjoyed your time with her, but it's just not there. There's like a deeper thing that you can't even put into words. It's just like this feeling. That's it. It's art, just like something about it. I'm like, if I never see her again, that's fine. I wish her the best. It was fine if other people enjoy her company. Somebody else marries her, great. I don't.
That's kind of gay. But Highlander has it.
Oh, dude, Highlander's great.
Mother effer.
I'm absolutely gonna watch Highlander again.
Thank
dude.
you for bringing that up. What the
Mother
fuck?
effer.
Dude, Highlander hits, man. That's a fun
This
movie.
movie spanks spanks Highlander and puts it to bed without dessert.
So much
Just
better.
total
on
recall
so
of
many.
Queen. No, doesn't.
Justin, I don't even know what to tell.
my only
You don't have to
my
tell
only
me
thought
anything,
on
man.
that is my only thought on that is if Highlander and Total Recall were am I
Oh no, you're back.
Same
you're back.
universe.
back,
Same
you're back.
universe.
oh, here we go. Woo! If Highlander and Total Recall were in a relationship, Highlander would be the wife.
All right, so let's talk about ambiguous endings then. Because
Real quick, Bill Armstrong, you can't believe you're agreeing with me? You should always agree with me. Anyway, go ahead.
there's not too many things I've done the ambiguous ending before. Typically, when you think of it, like unless it's Inception, which I think we agree that Inception had a good ambiguous ending.
The ending sucked.
Okay, sure.
Justin wants
Pick
answers.
something, writer. Pick something. Commit here. Pick something, man.
No,
It's like a pick your own.
It's dusted around tea with my buddies. Like, how's your chamomile? Did it fall? Did it stand? Pick something, man.
No,
Commit.
it's almost the more difficult choice to not pick something.
false.
No, because the writer has something in mind how he wants to end it, and he's choosing
man.
to not
No.
make the clear ending to make
He
it.
doesn't want. It's like George R.R. Martin. He doesn't write the last book because
It's not. It's not like George.
He
R. R.
doesn't want the blowback, so he's like,
No.
"We'll just leave it ambiguous and go."
No, he has to
No.
finish it.
Man.
That's such
It's
a bad
not
example.
ambiguous.
Bad example.
Hold on. I got to clear this up. It's not ambiguous. George Martin cleared it up. The reason he didn't write his book is because of fascists.
Look.
Carry on.
Book.
Okay,
His
yeah.
last book is his spinning top. Does it fall? Does it not fall? Does it get written? Does it not? We don't know. Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It was
Bad
over-
comparison.
It works for the story.
Bad comparison, Justin. But I
Go
love
with
you, man.
Sopranos. Jesus Christ, where
didn't
Sopranos
see
did the biggest
Sopranos.
ending, and everybody hated it.
Yeah.
There are books like there's a book by Ted Decker. I like Ted Decker, but I did not like this book. It's called Skin.
and it does the same thing. It's like, oh, was this all a simulation and training experiment, or was
all
it
the
real? And it
Goosebumps,
doesn't answer.
right?
Yeah.
Don't all the Goosebump books do that?
No, they have a twist ending. They don't have an ambiguous ending most of the time. Yeah. It's like, oh, the monster that's been chasing the kids, it turns out these kids are juvenile versions of a different monster that eats that kind of monster. That's the kind of ending Goosebumps has.
Is it What We Do in the Dark or something like that? Maybe that's
that was
What
that's a
French
vampire
porn
show.
are you reading, dude? What We Do
No,
in
the
Dark?
campfire one. The kids all around the campfire, and then they talk about what they, they all tell their own story. No, it's not What We Do in the Dark. It's fuck it. Come on, you don't know.
Oh
what
wait,
show
are
I'm
you
talking about?
afraid? Are you afraid of the dark? You're talking about the
There you
90s
go.
show. Yeah,
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I know that. Yeah.
yeah.
But
That's from episodes.
no, so ambiguous story endings. Yeah, it can very much definitely be the lazy choice. Where like Sopranos would be like, the fuck off, dude. Really, you're gonna make us wait 10 seasons? You're not gonna tell us it's gonna fucking end. But like, there are certain stories where I'm just like, wow, I think this is the perfect one. I think the way to end it. I think Inception is one of those. I think this movie is definitely one of them, where the ambiguous ending just works.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
think
remember. I'm trying to think of other
Inception is-
ambiguous endings. I can think
I
of
was-
one. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think in Inception's case, I have a theory about that. I think the whole movie was an Inception to get you talking about the movie. I think that was the point of the movie, is to basically pull in an Inception on the viewer.
That's
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, James Hurley, the Mist does have, in the novel or novella, I guess, it does have an ambiguous ending. They drive off into the mist, hoping to get somewhere, but they don't know if they're going to get there, and you never find out. And then the movie came out with the most fuck you ending of all time.
I
Was
do
that the one
that.
with the Punisher guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
James
shoots
something?
everyone.
Tom Jane? Dude,
Yes, and then
that
gets
movie.
rescued.
That movie messed me up. I was
We
pissed.
watched it like 3 months ago, and it's just bad top to bottom to go back to.
What?
Okay,
The movie
okay,
is
Total
good.
Recall.
Okay.
Total Recall. Total Recall. We can't listen to too many Justin bad takes.
Justin hates movie. Pikachu face.
I don't understand how you could like have any negative feeling towards this movie. I
negative.
dare say,
Like,
I dare
I
say
know.
this movie is a 10 out of 10.
I'm gonna say it's pacing. That's why Justin feels the way he does. He likes
No,
it.
It's got
but
such
he-
good pacing.
Pacing was good.
It
I
has
have no
good
problems with
pacing, but it
No,
has
I
really
mean-
harsh tonal shifts.
Imagine this whole story being over.
I mean, that's part of the movie is with the like fucking
with
you around,
care
being like,
into every
you know,
second.
like when the guy comes into the scene, he's like, you're still in the dream. Like that's a total shift, and you're like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Is this
Yeah.
a dream?
The last line of the movie is a tease. Is like a tease. It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, I'm gonna kiss you either way. Like if this is a dream, let's do this before it's over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, he was psychologically cheating on his wife.
Oh yeah.
His
Well,
wife.
he deep down.
Was the
he
wife
knew it
real?
was-
Is Sharon Stone real?
Right.
Yeah.
Never.
But I don't know. Am I wrong to say like am I crazy to give? And not asking Justin. Am I crazy to suggest that this movie is a 10 out of 10?
Well, if you go according to like the way I rate things, I look at did they achieve what they were trying to achieve, and if the answer is yes, that's a big plus, regardless of how else I feel about it. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10 because for me, a 10 out of 10 movie is like it's going to be in my top
Unachievable.
list of all time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and it's not one of those. But I was shocked. I was shocked by how good this movie was.
Right.
I'll say that. I like it's a bare minimum for me an 8 out of 10. It's really really excellent.
I think
There
I'm
was
like
a few-
Emily.
yeah.
I think it's a really good movie and it's really fun, but
You take
one
it
of
out to
those-
you take it
I'll
out to a
watch it
dinner
on.
date, but you wouldn't marry it.
yeah, I'll watch it when it's on. But if it's not on, I'll be like, okay, whatever. But
I'll
if
say it's a
somebody's like,
9.5.
"Watch this," I'll be like, yeah, that's a great movie.
You got to rewatch the one, Michael. I suggest when you're off of this, go rewatch it, and I guarantee you're probably gonna like enjoy it more than you did before, especially with all the slop that's out now.
That's true.
You know, that might be part of the problem. I haven't watched the slop at all.
Oh,
At all. I don't have that perspective. I don't have that clouding like my vision. I stopped watching new stuff in like 2017. Full stop. We cut all streaming, everything, and it's just been DVDs since then.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
man.
maybe
That's-
that's it. Maybe that's it.
My
way
movies
better.
are like I live in the 80s, 90s, some 2000s. So that's probably maybe that helps color my.
But you take a double decker on some of the best movies ever made all the time.
It's not double decker. They're fine.
Yeah.
That's
You
not double
said
decker.
Rocky.
Fine.
You didn't like Rocky.
Yeah, Rocky. I don't like him as a character, but we can talk about this some other time.
Wait, you
I
don't
think
like
there's
Rocky?
some contrivances
He's a loan
in.
shark. His house is a mess. He creeps on that girl. He's got a knife in the wall. She's like, "Well, nobody else is in Philadelphia. I guess I'll hook up with you." Bugs in the room. Oh, I'm still a loan shark, but no, I guess I'm a good guy. Everybody forgot about that part of my life.
I'm gonna. All right, AC. How?
Oh, I'm having an aneurysm, dude. Okay.
AC, how do you feel about this? What would you
The
rate?
flaws I would say would be in like some of the contrivances. Like I like the idea of a taxi on Mars bringing you to different districts, or better yet, like if there was like a train station,
Well,
and,
it
like,
wasn't a
different-
robot this time.
Right.
It was a robot. on
That
Earth.
was the main thing. Yeah. More
Attention to
symbolism,
detail.
right?
Benny.
More symbolism. Yeah. But I think I don't know if they would have. I think that part is suffering from the time it came out. I think if it was, that's one of the benefits of a modern one. Like imagine if it was like actually crazy detailed and felt like a colony instead of just two big rooms next to each other, essentially. But-
Yeah, I can see that.
I digress.
Yeah.
I'm just being nitpicky to try to think of anything. I like the movie.
Wait,
I
what
agree
about
with
this-
Emily. It's
What about the scene with the taxi cab where he tears it out because he can't stand it?
Oh,
Just like
yeah,
Alexa.
great.
It's just like Alexa, and then he goes
Yeah.
and kill him because he doesn't
Or
pay it.
autocorrect or voice.
I also like the robot taxi drivers and how they don't really work that well. I'm like, that's real. That's definitely. Everybody's like, I want to get a self-driving car as a taxi. I'm like, absolutely not. I do not
I
want to
need a
rely
street
on.
address and a number.
right. Yeah, but I mean, all that aside, that's just being nitpicky. They probably would have needed double the budget or whatever if they still wanted to have all the other stuff that they had in there. Plus, they already cut a bunch of it away. So, it is what it is. But I like it.
All right. Well,
It's 8.
I mean, we're all giving it high numbers. 8. We got a.
I'd say an 8.5 at least. I think
8.5?
that's fair.
I'd give it. I think 8.5 is a minimum on this. I think if you went lower than 8, you're lying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm the high rater on this. I'm
Well, it's
below.
Like your
Sci-fi
turbo
stuff,
takes
though.
out
This
Titan
is-
A, which is a classic.
Well,
He's trash. But
you saw the
love
guy,
Titan.
you saw the little guy in the stomach, no beard, and you felt represented.
we have to redo
Yeah.
Titan A. We have to redo Titan AE because it was
I wasn't
only
on
me.
that.
AC.
Actually, we really don't need to.
And
redo
I was in
Titan
I was in
A. We
Italy.
really
I
don't.
could barely. Yeah, it's.
Creed did the soundtrack for that movie, right?
They did the trailer. I know that.
Did they really? I was just joking, but hey,
Well, no, because it's like it's in the trailer, and you keep on like psychologically. I always remember a specific scene of being like, I
Hold
can
me
take
now.
you higher.
6 feet from the earth,
It was
and
like
I'm
still-
I didn't
It's on the movie!
One of those
I thought we were gonna
conducting
truck if we
light
sung it.
ones.
baby
wake
6
me
feet.
up. I can't wake up.
Not crazy.
All right, guys. I think we all agree.
That was their.
Get your ass to Mars. All right, boys.
3 hands. Man, I got 5 kids to feed.
If you keep doing that, something you do not want is going to happen to you with 100% certainty.
I love how dead serious that clip is for this show.
Yeah. You dare use my spells against me, Potter?
Dude, better than on Wrangler's stream. Billy Bobsack is slowly collecting really weird quotes of mine from different shows, and it's building up like a weird little
Might
collection.
have to get some of those.
No,
Video clips? Like you just pop up.
yeah,
and say
yeah,
something out
no
of it?
things that I've said on stream out of context,
Yes,
and
dude.
it's not good.
We just suggested the Arnold punching his wife in the face out of context. Like literally just that moment. Boom! And then he walks away.
Actually,
And
he
that's the whole
beats
clip.
women in several movies. It's not that hard to find.
It would be kind of funny to do a super clip where it's just like boom, 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 and then that's the whole.
Every time Arnold has assaulted a woman in a movie.
Oh man. Conan is based, but that's a story for another time.
All right, next topic, guys.
We could do. Let's do. What makes a good and bad book cover, in your guys' opinion? This got like for three of you. You guys are authors, so you guys can talk about your own books. But also, like Justin and I, and you guys as well, can talk about some of your favorite or least favorite books.
Mm-hmm. And then album covers too for Evely, because that's relevant with.
Well, Michael, if you would share with us some of your covers, I'm not really too familiar with your books, so
yeah,
you can see your covers.
Rude.
Should I send them in private chat?
No, just if you need to.
If you have the image, you can present. Click present down below.
I'm in China, so I don't have any of my books printed because, yeah. It's
Well,
hard to
hey, you guys talk. I'll bring up his Amazon page. I can find images. So hold on.
Get it.
I can send that my Amazon page in private chat. I actually do most of the covers myself, like 80% of the work myself.
Yeah,
I heard somebody.
You know what? Let's just talk about your book, Kahuna. This wasn't one of the topics for today.
Yes, it is. It's on the damn thing. We talked about it. You said
the book covers on the.
It's not on the cover. It's in the page on Discord. It's right there, man. You guys said let's grab a bunch of ones that we didn't use in other shows and put them on here. So we did.
It's fine.
No, that was like an early suggestion. All right, whatever.
It's fine.
Oh, fuck off.
Page on the private chat, so
Perfect.
pull up some of those.
We'll just take this to time to talk about your projects.
I heard somebody in the comic space discussing covers one time and they said that specifically they like to see at least one character really well represented and like central. So like most of the cover is like the character, right?
Was that my favorite person that you're talking about who made that video, or is that a different one you're thinking of?
I can't remember. I can't remember who said it, to be honest.
Okay.
I just it's fresh in my mind though. Or like I mean, if one of the characters isn't like front and center, like that right there with the Sherlock hamster one, the character's still involved with the image in some way. For some reason, characters are really drawn.
Jersey.
Really, for some reason, characters are really tied to like good covers, right?
It really depends on the kind of story. Some books can get away with a really minimalistic cover. A lot of minimalistic covers come across as lazy instead of good to me. But it like some are good. It really depends.
Or a good, embellished sword for a big epic fantasy.
Or it's like one's an axe, one's a sword, and one's like a hat, like a morning star. I'm like, okay, cool. No, I've always this is my favorite cover of yours. Straight up, I've always loved this cover.
See,
Person dead center.
There's a character front and center. The character takes up most of the image. This would be, and you wouldn't even look twice at this on like a shelf in Barnes and Noble, right? It looks professional, and it's for a reason.
Yeah, no, the font matches it just everything about it works. I have no critiques here.
Right. So
it's so good. There's no critiques here.
I feel like there's got to be a balance too between looking at, usually whenever you're trying to come up with a cover or advertising, you're looking into what's trending at the time, what the quote unquote like the mainstream or the pros or whoever you aspire to be, like what they're doing. And there's also that angle of maybe you don't love it and you want to do your own thing, and then it's like, do you go with what your gut says? Do you go with what's trendy? And there's usually trying to find that balance between the two, which is difficult. But did you wrestle with that at all with these, or is it just like, nope, this is a home run, we're good here?
Yes and no. I think most of my covers, I'm just like, I think that looks pretty cool. And there's some things I would like to do. Like if I did this Echoes of Memory again, I would probably edit it a little bit and like.
Can I give you a small compliment and a small roast, Michael?
Yep.
I like this cover. It's Kmart Assassin's Creed. But anyway, no, we're
No,
just like the pose and the weapon, like the whole thing. I'm getting major like Assassin's Creed vibes whenever I look at it.
Well, it's really it's like, what can you even do with a cover to even like? First of all, the only thing that really matters, does it sell the book? I mean, that's the only question that matters.
How about you look at these some of the books down here? Some of these are things you don't do. Just looking at them from a distance.
Yeah. Well, so it's like one thing you want eye catching, right? And the other thing is what takes that eye catchingness into a buy. I don't think any of us fucking know that.
I think it should be a tones. I think a good cover should be a tone setter. It should give you the feel of the story and what kind of tone the book establishes.
Yeah.
I think that's more important.
If it doesn't, like, the image isn't exactly anything to do with the story. It needs to establish the tone of the story, if that makes sense. And there's like some tricks, like you want, like I found something that helps is you don't need to do it always. But like with the text, you have it reflect a color in the image slightly, so you kind of get those two things linked in your mind. So it doesn't always have to be, but that's like a little plus, or you want it to be a high contrast.
Take notes, AC, for my cover.
So.
I don't know. Yeah, you're really good at you're really good at incorporating the title into the cover in a way that it's always just the right size. It's a good enough font. It doesn't distract it isn't like hidden in the background either. A lot of modern even like general publishing books, like the titles are always like obnoxious and in the center, or you can't even read them.
Well, so I would say, Michael, is there anything particular you want to shill today?
Well, I just published my second Sherlock Hamster book. Basically, this one right here. Sherlock Hamster is like, I grew up listening to old time radio shows like The Shadow and like Philip Marlowe and like all those.
Ever listen to those old like Superman radio kind of shows that they did?
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah. Basically, they had a whole bunch of detective noir shows back in the day, like radio dramas. Yeah. And I grew up listening to those, and I was like, I want to write that, but for kids, like kid-friendly, hard-boiled detective. And so that's my Sherlock Hamster series. Is basically he's like a smart aleck, down on his luck private eye, who gets in over his head and goes on, like, gets caught up in trouble and has to find a way out of it.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's an adorable premise, which is great for kids' books. So
it's like an easy enough. It's not this weird concept. Everyone's always trying to do like weird concepts for kids. I'm like, Sherlock Hamster is perfect. They know they'll know it's a mystery. They'll know that it's a detective. It's something familiar enough that it's not gonna take all their brain power to understand it.
Where the name, like, you hear Sherlock Hamster and you think he's like this super brilliant detective, but I kind of wanted a little twist where he's like more of the Philip Marlowe or one of those type of characters, where he's more hard-nosed, but in a fun kids way. So he's hard-nosed, but his favorite thing is drinking hot chocolate in the winter. And hot chocolate.
Slightly different from the habits of the book version of Sherlock Holmes. Slightly different.
Yeah. It's like, actually, you can see in this cover there's a thermos in this car chase. And
I saw that. I thought that's what that was.
It's a thermos full of hot chocolate, and
is that hot cocoa? Never leave the office without it.
Yeah, I love the expression on his face too. Can you zoom in even further on?
Let's just say that helps him. Helps him with this car chase, and helps them get away.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so guys, keep in mind, you need you have nieces, nephews, little kids, around 4 to 18. Christmas
I-
is gonna
Why
come
do you
up
make
soon.
it sound so creepy, Joe?
I actually
It's on the
can't.
picture. It's what it says on the Amazon there, 418.
That's why.
Actually,
why I said,
Yeah.
I can't
was
recommend
pretty
this enough.
happy,
Me,
like I'm a teacher here at an international school, and where I live in China. And one of my students, he was like, "So I read the first Sherlock Hamster book for like the 8th time today." He was telling me.
Oh wow,
nice.
So-
That's really cool.
And then he was like, "I'm gonna beg my parents to buy this one for me."
Did he rate it on Amazon?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say.
nice.
They have, like, Kindle, they're like sign up for Kindle Unlimited.
I
So
don't want to hear you talk about a kid until you
oh yeah.
freaking rate it.
yeah.
If I don't see an Amazon review by tomorrow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've actually like if we're ahead in our textbook, every once in a while I'll be like, "Hey, you guys want me to read one of my books to you? One of my kid-friendly books?" Because I'm not going to read like Echoes in Memory to them because
Oh, of course. Yeah.
there's a lot of torture in that one.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's good.
geez.
You gotta. Yeah.
Hamster is
Well, that's why
okay.
I like the idea of when my next book releases. It's way more kid friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be because man, I have so much trouble trying to recommend my book even to adults because it's more
Yeah.
towards the grimdark.
actually, speaking of
Yeah.
his book, let's look at Joe's cover real quick. I'll present it here, real quick. We'll zoom over.
Yeah, dude.
Yep, right here, Joe's book. The Edge of Dawn.
What?
I looked up your book, and this is the first one that came up. I had to.
I thought you AI generated this.
Oh Christ Almighty! This is a real. This is a real cover for anyone wondering. For a real book that exists.
It's a good
All right.
cover. It's a good cover.
So, Joe, what do you have? What can you tell us about this story at all? Hold on.
I'm fucking crying, dude.
I was hoping you would fall for it. I thought you would read it and realize that's not the name of my book. Hold up. I will bring up yours, but I do have AC's right here.
I
so
feel
hold
like
on.
I feel like such
Oh,
an
no.
asshole. I was like, oh, he's being genuine. I don't know why he never.
Oh, dude, I thought you would catch it. I thought you would catch it.
The second you were like, oh, let's pull up Joe's book. Oh, it's gonna be a prank. No, it didn't happen. I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
Oh, Christ. But yeah,
That's
no,
right.
I will bring up Joe's, but this is AC. This is the updated cover for A.C. Pritchard's Mortal Descent, Book 1 of the R.K. Chronicles. And I have it big right here. I can make it a little bit smaller. Let's see.
So yeah, very different than the OG, right?
Yeah. Justin and I have the OG. I like the OG, but again, I kind of want both. They're both really cool. You get little representations of a bunch of the characters here. I love the red moon with kind of the splatter on it. The all of the fonts work. The tree in the background kind of connecting everything. Dude, it just works. And it really gives a good representation of what's going on because this is a collection of shorts, all short stories. And it gives you very different impression. It shows you the diverse, not modern diverse, actual diverse characters that you get in this story. I think this cover really works, even though, I guess, Justin, would you say the first one's a little simplistic? It is simplistic, but I still like that one, despite that.
Yeah. I like.
I mean, yeah, comparatively, sure. It's just, for viewers out there, it's got the world of RK and you get the title and stuff. So it's a little bit more. One thing I love is the art on the new cover. Whenever you read a book and you have an image in your head and then you see the art and you're like, oh, good. I pictured it correctly or pretty close. That's always a good feeling because whenever you read, you never know if you're envisioning or understanding the writing the way the author. We talked about authorial intent before, and it's that kind of thing. So when I see this cover, I'm like, I did it. We did it, guys.
This is actually a great example of because this is the cover I made after I learned a little bit about how book covers work and what they need to have on them. Simplistic. There's a reason well-established authors are the ones that get away with the simplistic ones. It's because everybody already knows what their story's about, or you slap their name on it. Stephen King, there you go. Okay, you kind of know what you're signing up for, even if it's a completely different crazy story. But for a starting off author, it's really important to convey everything that it's about. So like I have a moon. A lot of people interpret it as a planet. So like once I found out that they interpret it as a planet, I kind of use it synonymously with the symbolism. So it's like it's technically the red moon of Arche, but it's also showing that, you know, all these stories revolve around this world, right? And all the stories are represented by all the characters. It's important to showcase characters and, you know, convey genre. You need to convey the genre that your story is.
So this is obviously romantasy, just looking at it.
It's kind of simplistic, but a simplistic way to describe it. But the cover needs to fit the vibe of the book. Yeah, that's like one of the most important things.
Yeah. Well, you got the red that draws your eyes, and then you got some cool looking characters, and then you can kind of try to match it up with the picture while you're reading the book. But
again, I think in an ideal world, all of like anyone who writes a fantasy book would like a full illustrated cover, but those to get a good illustrated cover costs just out the ass end to get a good cover most of the time.
Hang on. How much is out the ass end? Because I hear people throw around things like that. Like it was.
You're starting off at like the low end is like $500 to $700. High end, you're looking more like $3,000 to $6,000.
Okay, yeah, that's so much better. Thank you for putting a number on, because I hear those like when those phrases mean such different things to different people. I'm like, are you like 15 grand in? Like, how crazy are we going here?
You're typically going to see over
pre-made covers for like $250, but they're pre-made, and you just slap your title on it.
Yeah,
just flop it on there.
Yeah, you can get that.
But there's okay. Let's get into our subjects.
Hold on. I got your.
Oh,
we don't need to show mine. Okay, we don't need to. There it is.
I'll say this: my kids, every time they see your book, like 4-year-old, like, yep, there's an eye. It certainly is.
The lettering stands out. That's what that's one of the takeaways I have. It's kind of in the same simplistic vein as mine, but Bats is conveying a lot of stuff with his too, and I really like how the lettering pops off. Like you can see the name of the book. You know what I mean?
Also, it was written apparently by Caroline, not Joe. So I don't know. That's some dude named Joseph.
It's not alphabetical. What's going on here? Sexism.
Is it fantasy? I haven't read it yet. So.
It's sci-fi.
Definitely sci-fi.
Yeah,
strong sci-fi.
Grimdark.
You ever see Alex Jones like rant on Joe Rogan, the infamous Clockwork Elf one?
Yeah,
that's the basis of the story. Boom.
I was gonna say that was the ad for it. If I recall.
That was one of them. Yeah.
No, seriously, that's what kicked it off. I was like, "This is a fucking story, dude." So,
oh wait, for real? That's what inspired.
Even if you don't agree with it, you need to get into the conspiracy world as a writer, because it's just like, so rich for story ideas.
Story sauce, dude. Story sauce.
Oh yeah, like not just for sci-fi either. Like fantasy can do it too. Like there was. What was his name? This guy did a couple of books. My dad and I both like him. And he's like, what if I took every like sci-fi, like fantasy god and like evil person and put them all in the same world?
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn. All right,
dude. There's so much with like some of those old religions and the gods and the thought that went behind them make so crazy concepts. Like the Gnostic god. Like I don't know.
Cake in the dams. That's the name.
The lion head with the snake body. I'm gonna use that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawn's Edge is a lot like the Highlander movie, says Herman.
I mean, they're interchangeable, really.
It's like
real life
authors. Corporate wants you to look at these two images and find the differences. It's the same picture.
All right, well, let's talk about one of our actual topics. Let's talk about
Mother effer. We have a page for it.
Amnesia as storytelling, or even we can get into the morality or whatever the word is.
Hey, speaking about amnesia as storytelling, I got one of those books.
Yeah, tell us about it. Is it out or is it? Oh, you okay?
Well,
so one's out.
One with amnesia as a plot point, one with memory manipulation as a plot point.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe Maybe when with the word memory in the cover. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
So
I'll go with the less obvious one though. So my newer book, An Unexpected Adventure. It's a very whimsical, kid-friendly adventure, but basically it's about this kid who gets picked up by a storm, literally picked up because storms are like sentient creatures in this world. And like he gets thrown halfway across the continent and loses his memories.
Marbles.
And he has to find his way back to and, he has to remember who he is, where he's from, and find his way back. And he's like in a world where there's like shark huffalo, which are like shark
Centibear
and centibears.
Okay,
and he has
I
to
just
go
realized I haven't.
which
Sorry,
are
go.
roll around and try and trick people by moving when they're sleeping, things like that. So
yeah,
it's pretty whimsical, pretty fun. He's accompanied by a mountain panther grandma who takes him in as like kind of one of her cubs.
yeah.
The yellow on the cover of that book is rather striking as well. Kind of tying back into the whole covers thing. Yeah.
So like that, using the amnesia or just like memory manipulation as a storytelling device, great for sci-fi because then we can, instead of debating whether that technology, if it ever does come to exist, whether we should implement it or not. Was it Spotlight? What's that fucking Jim Carrey movie? Sunshine of Eternal.
He's on three of them.
Something of an Eternal Mind. The
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I remember it was a weird like granola cover. Anyway,
that's a great movie that starts up that conversation. So it's really cool element to throw into sci-fi to preemptively have the conversation, because like in like that movie with Jim Carrey is a great example where it's just like, man, these memories are who make us, and it's just like, well, once it's gone, and it's like, I don't know. But
Dollhouse might be the most compelling sci-fi story involving memory loss.
that was the TV series, right?
Yeah, you've heard of it?
I've watched the first 2 seasons of it. I love.
That's all there is.
Song. Oh, okay. Then I watched it all. Yeah, I love the intro song.
It was really good.
Yeah. AC, you would love Dollhouse, by the way. It f's you up, dude.
I'm thinking of Russian Doll.
Oh, it's not as good.
You have the memory wipe premise. You gotta stick the landing. And if I remember right, that show didn't do it for me.
The ending is a little odd. Is a little odd.
That to me it's one of the most fascinating basic premises of like, okay, who is this person? There's weird things going on. You go along for the ride, but you got to really pull out of it the right way. And
I feel like a lot of stories use it the same way. They all kind of go the Jason Bourne route. It's like they only lose convenience to lose memories, and they have
That's what Total Recall did.
It's a mystery, and you have to get those specific memories back.
Right.
But they have all these. It feels like it's a very convenient thing that people use.
I did it in the least convenient way. Well, I shouldn't say the least convenient, but I did it in a very intentful way. I did it with intent. There's a very strong reason why my amnesia story has it, and it's because there's all kinds of symbolism with the main character becoming like human again. It's
memory of mortality.
Yep. It's essentially set in my fantasy world. Here, you guys keep talking.
Well, so like I think that one of the most common ways we see memory used in storytelling is the lazy way. Is a very convenient way to start off a story. Like anime does it all the time.
Anime does. I forgot about that. Anime's up. They are criminals with that.
It's like as there's so many. There's as many of those as there is isekais, where it's just like standard.
Well, it creates an easy fish out of water like storytelling.
Right.
I just thought of it. Another one, like any CW style show where a part of a young couple does something bad, and then they get in that terrible accident and they forget they broke up or forget the bad thing that happened. It happens all the time. I just thought about it.
They're like, if he starts to remember, we're gonna have to kill him.
Oh, geez.
So
What was that,
that's like Vampire Diaries.
Dirty Little Liars. Oh, okay, never mind.
Pretty Little Liars.
I thought it was dirty.
What different? That's on a different website.
I watched the wrong show.
It can work though. It can work. Nothing's coming
Oh,
to my
for
mind,
sure.
but I've definitely seen the amnesia storytelling just done so well.
It
It's the
can be.
exact same isekai
I think it's hard to do well. I think it's not the easiest thing to do well.
Yeah,
because a
It's-
lot
I
of
think
people do it. And it's,
It works well, like in the Jason Bourne. Just like if you want to just have a good action, like cliche, like
Sure.
it works well if you keep it really simple. If that makes sense.
I don't think
I know
it's
what you mean.
difficult to write in. I just think it allows, like, kind of like time travel and multiverses. It just allows
Yeah.
and breeds lazy story writing.
Yeah.
Michael, I want to touch on something you said. Yeah, like the Bourne stories, the books, and the movies, they do a lot of things really well. It feels like a whole bunch of stories got the wrong lessons from the books and the movies.
Yeah,
A whole bunch of stories started doing like the amnesia hero kind of guy, and they didn't do it as well. All action movies were shaky cam, and they didn't know how to do it. Like Bourne is great, but it inspired everyone else to lazily attempt it.
It taught everybody the wrong lesson.
Yep.
So, great book that I'm just thinking about now. Uses memory loss. It's a sci-fi. It's great. Recursion, and basically, it's the premise is a bunch of people that are all correlated. Who's
that by? Who's that by?
Blake something.
Lively.
Blake Crouch. I think his name is. And
Blake
so
Crouch.
basically,
Yeah, you got it.
everyone's associated with this one party that happened. That's like the one tie-in. But there's like random people that have occurred, and they all have these. They call it fake memory syndrome, and so they're all having these memories of
things that never happened.
Things that never happened, and it opens up with this woman who's standing on the edge, and it's the detective's point of view, and he's trying to come down, like figure out what's going on, and she's like, "I have this isn't memory loss, but different case, but
memory confusion, which is almost worse."
And so, she's like, I have a memory of a son. I know him. His name is this. And I know that you guys keep saying he's not real and he doesn't exist, but I know he's real. And then she jumps off. It's like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Amazing opening to a book. Like, you want to talk about drawing you in, and the detective is like, fuck, we got to figure out what's going on.
They were just copying Lethal Weapon.
Other guys aim for the bushes.
So
there's it's not amnesia directly, but it's almost amnesia adjacent. Actually, never mind. Go ahead. We get off topic all the time.
Okay. Well, what are the sci-fi things we got that's like implanted memories and goes into the morality of that? I mean, Mike, you mentioned something about your stories, kind of going into the morality.
I have one that's a fantasy world, but basically the magic system all is based around memory. So there's 4 different main magics, which one is when you touch other people, you can see their memories. And another is you can remotely give your memories to other people. And the other is you can touch people, you can erase their memories. And then another, the least common, you find out later why, but the least common is you can insert yourself into the memories of others remotely.
So I imagine this plays a huge element into the storytelling.
It has
right?
to.
Yeah.
Well, it's like sometimes you have things like that, like power similar, maybe not as robust in stories, and then they barely use it to its potential, and you're just
it's like for one convenient plot point and then never brought up again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like outside of top.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying this is one of my first books, so thinking back, there's things I'm like, I could have probably done this better, but one of the things I do is during the fight scenes, one of the guy, he's a memory mage, so when he's grappling with the other guy, he goes through their memories and he's like, oh, he got injured in his knee here, and then he kicks the knee, and use the touch for memories for battles because they can see oh, he's had injuries here, this is their weak point here, and so they use that to help them, win fights and battles, things like that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a more it's not convenient. What's the word? Practical way to use like memory and manipulation of that kind in the story. It's a little less like story related, more action related, which is an interesting take on it.
I was kind of thinking, like, how would a fighter, or like one of the characters, he's basically the chief of police, like the chief of the city guards. And I was like, how would he use it? He would just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna use this to see, criminals, what the criminals have done, or I'm gonna use this, like, there's not a whole lot of that in the story.
And then the criminal's gonna be like, I'm gonna insert myself into his memory as your absent father, and then you won't be able to arrest me. It'll be too emotional.
Yeah. How is this technology, or how is this power, how does this change the world? It's like when introduced elements like this, it's going to have a huge effect on the world around it.
Well, in this story, basically the emperor, he basically saved the nation after it almost collapsed, and he's like brought them and started a new capital city. But you later find out the emperor, basically he's like a super powerful memory mage, and he like basically did a genocide against most of the memory mages
and just made everyone else forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Harry Potter dips into that.
I was gonna say Harry Potter actually messes with memory stuff quite a bit, and I like how it uses memory.
It's one of those things where you're like, well, you can't do too much with that, and then you show, like, Harry Potter obviously doesn't delve into that, but it's like the times they use that, it's like, damn, dude, this is like kind of OP.
Well, they used it as a storytelling device, but it was interesting and it was well done. That's why Harry Potter made it work.
Yeah, sure. But then you got to think, and this is where, like, it's a kid's story, but so you can give it a break. But it's like, you got to think, like, man, how many more people would be abusing? Well, just all the magic in Harry Potter, but like that one, right, for example.
Well, like Professor Lockhart stole a bunch of the credit for a bunch of other people's accomplishments. That was pretty. I'm like that. Like reading the book for the first time as a kid, I was like, "Holy hot damn!" I knew I did not expect that for some reason. I should have expected it.
Yeah.
It's like it's that final puzzle piece that makes everything match.
Yeah. In my story, one of the ways they like use it is the emperor. He'll kidnap children who have the memory magic ability, who are the givers, who can share their memories, and then he'll torture them like brutally. Like he'll have his people torture them brutally for years, and
as you do.
And because he's the one who can insert himself into their memories, he just puts his memories of him saving them from that life. And so
we need to use a different word besides insert, because I'm a 12-year-old. Moving on.
Please.
So he can put himself inside their memories.
Can you bring up that? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like he basically has an army of like loyal inquisitors, is what I call them, ironically, because they just like share like overwhelm people's minds with memories of torture. So they basically PTSD people.
See, that's a creative way to use that power. Again, like, yeah. No, I really appreciate that. Yeah. Bring up that comment by James Hurley, because he's brought it up a couple times, and he
really wants us to watch Enemy of the State.
I've seen it. I really enjoy that movie. It's kind of like V for Vendetta. It's not predictive. It's just the actual future in a movie from the 90s and early 2000s.
I don't know if I've seen it.
What, with Will Smith?
Yeah, like I said, we'll probably have to get it on a poll. Like maybe we'll do a Will Smith week or something like that. But we all know that.
Get my wife's name.
When that
Hancock
it's
is
like
also
a slightly more realistic version of conspiracy theory with
with Mel Gibson.
With Mel Gibson
and Sandra
it's
Bullock.
Like the more realistic version of that.
That movie was fun.
What movie?
Conspiracy Theory.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It was.
Sorry, I don't try to cut anyone off. But we should move on to our next topic. Let's talk plot twist. Plot twists and stories. How do we do those? How do we get those? What makes a good plot twist?
We just talked about a movie where they do it like 5 or 6 times.
Did they twist it? No, they're rewrapping it, twisting it, undoing it, putting it back.
Well, the thing is, plot twists can tie into any other storytelling topic. Depending on the story, it could tie into memory loss. It could tie into mystery. It could tie into subversion of expectations, and it's kind of like a blanket kind of story topic because it can attaches itself so directly to so many other things.
Man, when you said it can tie into memory loss, I just got a good idea for a story. I was like, what if there's like a story where it's like the guy has amnesia, but the plot twist was he never had amnesia, and then
what if he's just crazy?
No, it's just like, what if he was like, going on this rampage and he's like has amnesia, but then you find out no, he's just kind of like a murderous psychopath or something like that.
He tells the audience that he has amnesia.
He's sitting there, is like, he beats the crap out of like 5 dudes. How did I do that?
I just imagine. Ba, 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 ba. I have amnesia. Ba, 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 ba.
He breaks into a random safe in the bank. It's like he finds a bunch of money and a gun in there. He's like, "What? Who was I? What did I forget?"
Well, let's talk about some of the great movies, or any story that has the big plot twist. I know Brandon Sanderson.
The end of the movie, The Mist, not the book, but the movie.
It was a twist. I didn't like it.
That's a plot twist. A good one is oh dang, it was the one that made Nolan famous, put him on the map.
Memento?
Yeah, Memento.
Yeah, that was a trippy movie.
That was another memory loss one, too. Right?
Yeah.
I think the movie that best had a twist, at least for my generation, the one that hit the hardest, was M. Night Shyamalan's The Sixth Sense.
I still have never seen that movie.
I haven't seen it either.
If you haven't heard do you know the twist?
Yeah, of course.
I've seen the 51st Dates. I know the twist.
If you haven't, man, going into that without knowing the twist, it's such a good movie. It's still pretty good. It's entertaining, but if you don't know the twist, man, it just, there's a really good chance it hits you out of nowhere and it lands real well. If you know it, it's still a good movie, but that was one that I remember everybody's like, holy crap.
We could actually just talk about Shyamalan for a minute. What about The Village? The twist at the end of that movie.
I hated that twist.
I liked that. I like that movie.
I like that movie too. I didn't like the twist. Okay. We actually just watched another one of Shyamalan's called The Visit. Not to go on a tangent, but the twist in that one.
Is that a newer one?
2016.
That's newer.
The kid in it is from Alexander's No Good, Terrible, Bad Day, and the girl, I can't remember if she's from something or not. The twist in it was interesting. Like, the movie was compelling. It kept you entertained at the end. You're wondering, like, what is going on here? Basically, these 2 kids go to visit their grandparents on a PA farm.
I forgot. Yeah.
And the mom hasn't seen her parents in a long time, so they're spending time with this couple. And as things are unfolding, there's weird stuff going on where there's natural explanations for why they're acting weird, but the weirdness keeps
getting weirder. It doesn't go away with
something doesn't land quite right. And then the twist at the end, it made sense. It wasn't like amazing, and the end was kind of like
it's a small enough movie. We could spoil this movie. I know the twist. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
It turns out the grandparents are not the
grandparents at all. Yeah.
At all. Yeah, and they've just been staying with strangers the entire time.
The grandparents worked at it in an asylum, basically, and so 2 of the crazies that they were working with come home, murder them, and take on their identities more or less. And these kids show up, and the plan at the end was, and these crazy people, one of them, the reason that she's in the asylum is because she dispatched of her own children in a lake, and she was sending them to some planet called like Sinatuptula or something. And so the game plan was for these 2 elderly people that were nuts to take care of these 2 kids that were visiting, and the kids, again, the whole time didn't know that they were staying with people that were
they knew it was weird, but it's just like, well, mom hasn't seen her parents in a long time, we've never met them, it's a little weird, but
yeah. And so it was fun getting to the plot twist, and the plot twist at the end was like, it was fine. It wasn't bad. There's only so many directions it could take. but
Yeah.
the ride
I
there
know
was more fun than
early
the reveal.
2000s era one that had like kind of a famous plot twist. I didn't really like the movie, but was one called The Others.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
alright.
I
With
hate
the Nicole Kidman, was that the
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, the Nicole Kidman one. Yeah, it wasn't a good movie, but it had a kind of infamous plot twist.
I mean, I feel like a plot twist can make or break a story in the
It
same way that we were talking about earlier. I feel like, yeah, it's the kind of thing. If you, it's like a choose your own adventure. You pick the wrong the wrong path. It ends in a way that.
Well, does the Matrix, does the mystery of the first Matrix count as a twist? Because they were really closed-lipped about what was going on in that movie before it came out. Like my parents said when they went into theaters, that was the big question: what is the Matrix? What's going on? And
yeah, kind of. But the twist was earlier than the end, so there's a conversation to be had there too. Like, where to put a twist to be the most effective? Do you plan it in the middle, or even like Truman Show? The twist is kind of at the very beginning with that one.
There's some anime where the twist is at the beginning too. There's one where it's like it's this cast of girls are going to school. It looks like a shoujo or like slice of life anime.
Average second year student.
No, but then it reveals, these girls are crazy, and this is like a post-apocalyptic world. Nothing they said like you've seen in this episode is real.
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I don't remember what it's called.
Magical,
do you remember its name?
like it? Yeah,
Madoka Magic
Sailor
or
Moon.
something.
No, it's kind of supposed to come off like Sailor Moon, but it ends up tricky like that. No, I'd say like Truman Show is not a plot twist, right? Like,
that's a plot. That's like the inciting incident for the Truman Show.
So does it by nature have to be further along?
Well, like does the twist in the Matrix count as a twist?
It just has to be we're talking about the introduction to the plot. You can't twist anything if it's the introduction. With Truman Show.
I would say like
you have to go and then twist.
Yeah.
So it has to be further on. You can't do it at the beginning.
Yeah, well, the Matrix twist is it's like 30-40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it towards the beginning. It can't be the introduction because you have to go from
it cannot be the inciting fucking incident.
Fair, like Memento has the twist at the very beginning, but you don't find
out the timelines are so twisty in that movie. It kind of works anyway.
Memento's just on a different level.
I would say you can have basically you can't have a twist be an inciting incident because it's an inciting incident.
Yeah,
but
you have to go. I mean, there's many points to a story from point A to point B to C to D or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like when you're going from point A to point B, instead of going to point B where like you expect it goes to Z. You know.
Well, it's like that's the thing too. A twist is they kind of fall into one of two categories or three, I'd say. One is where the characters are confused, but the audience knows what's going on. And we just are observing them going through and figuring it out. The other one is where obviously both don't know. And then there's a third, more obscure one where the characters know something that the audience doesn't, and it's just not revealed to us right away.
Yeah, like I think to your point, you can have a twist at the beginning of a story, but it also has to be at the end. Like you show it up front, almost like a Fight Club, where you sort of get the
Fight
twist,
Club.
and then they have to retrace back to it. I still feel like I've seen some stories where they start off where they start going down one path, and then like something happens, and they shift gears, But I don't know if that would be considered a plot twist, or if there's another term for that when it happens.
Yeah, I guess it would depend.
Well, it's like a common twist is a character is not who they say they are, or they are someone you didn't know that they were. Like Talia al Ghul in The Dark Knight Rises, or Darth Vader being Luke's father. Those are obvious ones, but it's a very common trope in stories. As like if you're going to have a twist, it's a very common twist to have.
So, and I bring up Sanderson because I think he's got great examples of like, and even when the story's still good, he's got a bad plot twist or like, you know, because it didn't trick you. You still like he just set it up too much, and he has some plot twists that really hit.
Like for me, it's like sometimes every now and again he'll really really get me, but most of the time I kind of pick up on because he's not an a-hole. He does drop hints. You can figure it out if you pay attention.
He's good with dropping the hits. He's also good with hitting the misdirects. And sometimes it's like he makes some plot twist so obvious that it just throws you off even more with some of the others because you're like, well, you didn't make this one as obvious.
Right.
So there's something like,
Well,
with it.
we've all gone through, except for Michael has gone. How we've been going through Yumi recently, and there's a couple of twists in there. One of them did partially get me, and it was more like just characters decide something, and I was like, oh, you've read it?
No, I haven't. I want to
Oh.
though. Out of his secret projects, that's the one that I'm like, I think I like that the most.
It depends.
The
Depends
title is
on
the
who
best
you
title.
like. The title is the best. I don't know. The Sunlit Man is a pretty cool title.
I don't know.
It's
you mean
basic, but it's cool.
the Nightmare Painter. I'm like, what is?
Okay,
a
yeah,
Nightmare Painter?
that's the best
Full
one.
Metal
That's
Alchemy.
so cool.
I liked every secret project for very different reasons. Like a lot of people, you say Yumi is their favorite of the secret projects, and honestly, it's maybe in the bottom two for me. That's just personal preference, but yeah.
I haven't.
I think
have only started Tress in the what is it? Tress in the-
Emerald Sea.
Yeah, that's the only one of his I've started of the secret projects.
Yeah.
That's more like a Princess Bride style story. It's a little more whimsical, a little more action, adventure, and romance. And I don't know. I really liked that book. It was the right kind of book for me at the moment that I read it. So
Yeah.
maybe that's
I
why.
didn't mean to change the subject too much, but plot twist.
Twist.
No, it's hard to talk about Sanderson because we don't want to talk about spoilers, right?
There's so many spoilers. Yeah, that's a
I'll
problem.
talk spoilers when you finish my book, Kahuna. When I got ones that I'm hoping they're coming off good.
Kahuna.
I can see a couple of them already, I think, but I'm going to have to read through them and find out. So we'll see. We'll see.
You think? Yeah.
I got another famous plot twist from back in
So-
the day.
Wait, real quick. If the plot twists don't work, can we blame your wife, or how's that work?
Anything you don't like, it's not Bat's fault.
It's Caroline.
Anything you like,
you
it's
you
good
let
to
me
get it.
see Bat. You let
Wait.
me down.
You're
It's
gonna
the
read a
best.
few
He's not here to defend
pages.
himself.
You're gonna read a few pages and blame her. It's all the
Obviously, a woman
Sorry,
wrote
Mike. That's
it. No,
that's an inside. Yeah.
It's clearly the fascists.
Thank you, AC. Thank you for dipping out for a minute and then coming back to bring that. I'm so happy you did.
Hey,
Yes,
George
Usual
Martin brought you
Suspect.
that.
That's a great plot twist.
I haven't
example
movie?
to bring
I haven't
up.
seen that yet.
I haven't
Lord of the
seen either,
Rings.
but I know the plot twist, and
I don't.
Really? Okay, sorry, James. We cannot talk about.
That's when I've been able to dodge.
done
How about what's in the box? What's in the box?
Oh, funny you should mention that was just brought up on a previous stream that I was doing.
Yeah, that was a oof.
Yeah, that was
I
a
think
plot twist that was
also
brought.
the Sloth being alive in that movie, like the murder for Sloth, and that
Oh,
guy's
yeah.
not
Oh
dead.
yeah.
That was,
That was
a
just a
really
brutal movie.
So I don't know if that.
I'll be
really
honest.
has any-
I've never seen the movie from start to finish. I've seen most of it, but
It's
I've never
rough.
been able to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I don't. Justin, no. Shush. You're not allowed to talk about movies.
So the plot twist isn't really what's in the box,
It is,
right? Because that happens right at the end.
the
plot
real twist is that Kevin Spacey touches kids.
Yes, thank you. The plot twist is what the last deadly sin is.
yeah.
Which is interesting. But everybody knows what's in the box, because that's definitely a twist for the character. But also, everybody knows it. Like when he's like, "What's in the box?" Everybody fucking knows it. All the viewers are like, "We know."
Or
It's not-
No, I
they're not
wasn't
gonna
with
like
you
the
on
answer.
that. Whenever I got there, I was like, nah, they wouldn't. They
Really?
wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justin's like, these are all upstanding, moral people. They wouldn't. They would.
I think
I
one
was
of
hoping
the,
for a happy ending, man. I always just want the happy ending.
You watched 7 and what?
You stop the bad guy. Maybe he gets to 6, and then he
I'm watching 7. It didn't give me a happy ending.
I still always hold out.
I
hope.
want my
Maybe-
Hollywood ending. I want them to find love and to have kids.
Yeah.
America.
Bro.
If
Sorry.
we look
Thought it
at
out,
the
Oh.
50s nuclear family dream at the end of the book, I'm out.
I want guys. Don't talk about faith like a mushroom.
fine.
Talk about optimism like Justin watching 7, hoping for a happy ending.
You see
Like,
the
hang
first
on,
deadly
hang
sin, you're
on.
like, there's still hope.
Yeah. I was like, maybe he'll turn it around. Goes through the error of his ways.
Guys, brighter days are ahead. I promise.
Oh my god! Next, he's gonna read. I need
really well was Gone Girl. Have you seen that?
No,
I kind of have, but
yeah,
I think I read it, if I'm not mistaken.
It's interesting. Like, out of all the movies I've seen, like even Seven and whatnot, Gone Girl probably messed me up more than any of all those.
Oh wow, maybe I might need to revisit it.
I think it's because correct me if I'm wrong. It's like it's like too real for like people that have been in relationships or toxic relationships.
I hate that word.
Anyway.
Well,
that's
plus
why I have to say it like weird.
I was like,
Amber Heard
like that,
so
and it
she's not even acting in that. So
what's that?
Amber Heard.
Was that Amber Heard? No, that was what's her name? Rose.
It was Adele when she lost weight, right?
There was that chick who's in the Wheel of Time now.
That show doesn't. What do you mean? The Wheel of Time doesn't exist.
Those are books. I've never heard of
there's
the show.
Yeah, there's no movie or show.
It does not exist. Yeah, what?
Oh wait, I got a good twist from one of my favorite movies of all time, and one of my a really beloved. Dude, I'm melting.
I've heard of the show, Michael. Don't worry.
V for Vendetta. Spoilers, by the way.
That's going to be coming up for us.
Oh, yeah. But you guys, you've seen it. You know the twist.
Remember the 5th of December.
Yes. Well, everybody who's listening right now, November 5th, which is a Tuesday, we're not going to have a poll. We're going to be watching.
Day too.
It's election day. We're watching
one of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Kick him out, Justin.
I think I'm kind of like Justin on this. V for Vendetta was fun, but no.
It was not fun. That's the whole. Yeah, thank you.
I don't remember it, which means I didn't enjoy it. That's all I know.
Why are we talking about this? Guys, we're not talking about how great the movie is. You guys are left speechless by its brilliance. Now, moving on.
Yeah.
Almost as speechless as Battsauce was at Titan A's brilliance.
Yep.
Let's talk about twist endings.
What about
that it sucked at the end? Big
iconic. Planet of the Apes. One of the OG twist endings. Kind of like when if you think of really classic twist endings, you don't get much better than that. That was a pretty.
It also brought one of the best lines ever that you can just use in almost any situation.
Actually, we definitely have that as a clip in here, don't we?
The original plot twist. Are you ready?
Are you gonna say Lord of the Rings?
Oedipus the king.
His dog.
The dog goes on.
I was like, get the sound effect on. That was great.
All right. We're coming up at that time of the hour, boys. The sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting low, boys.
All right.
Gotta get back to the ranch. You know what I'm saying?
AC, if your dogs are not barking, is there anything you'd like to say before we head out? Emily, anything you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Thanks for the chat for showing up, and I'm Anthony Harris. Thank you, sir, for dropping by. It was great talking, and thanks for riding on the Iron Seas.
Yeah, that's some fun. Yeah, all right, Harris, anything you got to say before we head out? Any last minute shizzles?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was really fun. Buy my books and have fun.
All right.
Sweet. Joe, you go.
All right, I'll go. Buy my book. I don't know. What else? We got my stream, my weekly stream tomorrow.
You guys saw the cover earlier on stream, a sexy purple man and a, I'm sure, wonderful personality girl. Great cover, great story. Check it out.
It's been more of a drama stream. I'm trying to sway out of that a little bit. I'm getting pretty sick of it. But stay tuned. All right, Kahuna.
I put out a short recently on my channel showing off my favorite piece of art on the planet. There are artistic reasons I like it, but there is a lot of sentimental value I have in that piece. And the clip's going pretty well right now, but yeah, if you guys want to check that out and see a family heirloom that's been passed down, I'd love for you guys to check it out. Go ahead.
All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us aboard the Iron Seas. Tune in next week at Tuesday, 6:30 PST. Ahoy, sailors. And get your ass to Mars. Woo!